mission for today is it's not a quiz per se. It's more so of a fill in the blank.
Do we get a word
any of you who know me will
drag and drop.
roll your eyes.
We all know
The fill in the blank, which has to be related to this campaign, is blank. I hardly know her. It's a dad joke. So think of any word that pertains to this campaign. You you already got it, yeah. All right, Jose, if you got it, let's see if you can give us a good example.
In pertaining to Derek's sister, save her. I hardly know her.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you get
Dude,
your inspiration.
Wait, what?
Got him.
I want to see if somebody can give me a different kind of example.
I'm gonna go.
Because there's quite a few campaign-specific names even that can fit into this template.
I'm gonna go with Ernest Thier. Hardly know her.
I was gonna go with
Hey, wait, who said that? Was that Ryan?
Yeah.
Did you say Artiber?
Yeah.
That was the one that I thought of when I first thought of this thing. So yeah, Tyler, Ryan, and Jose all have them. I like Thier though, because I feel like it's a guy with a lisp. Thier, I scarcely know her.
Artiber was my second one. That's a good one.
All right. How many people are we still waiting on? We still have Chris and Vinny. If either of you guys can come up with them. Come on, Vinny. I know there's one something from the campaign that you like to mention on occasion. That's precisely into this wording. Think the first arc of the campaign.
Oh my God! Wait, Vinny's is so easy.
In the forest. What did you encounter in the Feastwood?
Oh.
Vinny, what's your sidekick called?
The Screecher. I hardly know her.
That's a good one.
Oh fuck yeah!
I was trying to fit in a way to be like my son. I hardly know, but
honestly,
it
Jose,
didn't fit the pun.
I did not think of that, but that is so true. There was an even easier one right under your
Vinny,
nose.
what's your sidekick called?
Baxter.
Let's go, Baxter.
My boy.
Let's see. There's a couple of other player characters. Actually,
Player characters.
Yes.
There's two that can fit into this. Actually, three.
What?
There's three. Two of them are Caleb's characters, to give you a hint, in case you remember last names.
Oh my God, I don't remember any of those.
And then one of them is a character of somebody else who isn't here right now.
Well, there's another one too.
What the heck?
That could fit.
I'm not good with names.
If I use an accent, I could use my name, but
what's do you know Jimmy's character's name, Chris?
I'm chewing. Do I know his name? Oh geez.
You do know. It's the bugbear. He's a bugbear.
It's Jimmy Green. It's his last name.
I'm on the spot now. Hold on. I'm thinking.
Even if it doesn't end in an ER, if you phrase it the right way, I will accept it. Like you can stretch like another vowel followed by an R.
Junga's here.
Junga is here.
Jimmy. Can you? Oh, you're muted.
I'll be back. I gotta pee.
Jimmy! Oh no. Come on, Chris.
Chris, you could even use my character's name if you just say it a certain way.
What do you? Does it fit the rhyming scheme?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
What?
What is like the what is the theme of this arc? I'll give you a. This is a very basic one. It's not even a specific name. Like, what's an enemy that you're currently chasing after?
Oh, that's also very
Melusine?
No,
Close.
Melusine. I guess Roxana is
I mean-
kind of like this, but there's more like what is like the exact objective right now? Who are you trying to kill?
You can also use their full names to make it fit.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking
that was
that.
my thought.
But even more basic than that. What does Roxana and Melusine and all those half siblings? What do the Jalaran resemble?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
So give me the quote, Chris.
Well, like what is vampire? I barely know her.
Yeah, vampire. I hardly know her.
If you do accents, you could have done Roksana. I hardly know her, or some
Yeah, that
shit
could
like
work.
Just
that.
And then
I thought
you
you were
could
gonna say
also stretch
Roxana.
like any of the
Barely
Demir
know her.
names.
Yeah, just Roxana Demir.
Thomas's last name is Ochre.
Ochre. Oh,
He has a
that's
character
right.
named Olimar, but that's not even the one I was talking about. I'm just reading right now. Glide's like last name, more of like a second name, is Twister, which makes that's an even funnier one. Twister. I hardly know her. Jimmy, are you able to talk now? I don't know if you're. Oh, Jimmy.
Junga?
We can. It sounds like you're drinking water. I'll with technical difficulties, I'll just give Jimmy a free pass on this one. Everyone gets inspiration because his character's name is Jan von Jaeger.
Damn.
I hardly von know her.
Why was that our worst one so far?
I don't know. There were so many names. There were so many names.
Damn.
But yeah, I guess it was like a little more of like roundabout thinking as opposed to just like a straight quiz format. All right, everyone gets your inspiration. Let's hop right into it. Where we last left off, a crazy corkboard conspiracy was forming.
Oh my god, I was gonna be so mad if I missed this session because we just figured out so much.
Yeah. We got most of it right too, apparently. According to what Seth said.
The old capital of the Drovir in an immaculately preserved archive hidden within the exterior of a mountain. And I believe what just happened was this creature currently overseeing the archive had just gazed into Roxana's very being and extracted information that not even Roxana knew. A little cryptic in ways, but pretty revealing, it seems, as to some of the nature of what's going on here in Thalassashana. For those of you who are wondering where the music is, it still sounds like shit right now over my like bot that I have set up. I think I'm gonna have to take a different approach and figure that out. I did post in the general like text chat on Discord kind of what I'm just listening to in the background right now. So if you want to put on something to listen to that sort of fits this theme, then by all means, go for it. Okay. You're currently in the archive. Let me activate the scene here to jog your memory as to where you what room you're actually in, this greater library or study area with books, tomes tightly packed onto its shelves, and again, not detailed in this map that I found, but even more books and even more miscellaneous things like missives and journals scattered, strewn about the floor. And this creature over here with its one gazing eye crouching low on a reading table nearby.
It's the dog. Did we want to give up any more magic items for any more questions?
Yeah. So yeah, as a
Yeah, that's a good
jogging of
question.
memory, that's a good point. There's I can't recall which of you. Well, Vinny wasn't here last session.
Oh, who wants to
I
explain
guess.
the conspiracy theory?
Yeah, I guess we can do that. But right now, Vinny, everyone's just here. We came to look up how to kill Odrakthir, the
Ooh.
once husband of Adroxa, the current Drovir Asari. She thought that she had killed him in the past, but apparently had failed. But coming here, the party found what apparently was Adroxa's old journal when she was originally trying to figure out how to kill her husband to prevent the Drovir from being wiped out entirely. And it turns out that what is the MacGuffin? What is the anchor that's holding Odrakthir's immortality? Does anybody remember?
Yeah, it's the wedding ring, right?
Yes, the
but
wedding ring.
specifically
She had
hers wedding ring. Her wedding ring.
exactly. She had destroyed his wedding ring, figuring out that was his anchor. But perhaps it wasn't just his wedding ring, but hers as well. It's a promise, a bond. So both would need to be destroyed in order to sever Odrakthir's immortality. So the options are here. You can still just go about this creature here. It seems to let you freely go about this library and do research on your own, which nobody's done yet. But also, for more esoteric or perhaps not written in word information, this creature has an innate ability to look into your very being and pluck out secrets that not even you know, just from your connections to various things and people and places in the universe or multiverse. And if anybody wants to go ahead and describe like the Cliff Notes version of all the information that, or like the current theories that are ongoing, then you can go ahead. I know Ryan, you were asking if you might want to, or Tyler. I don't remember which of you were keeping more meticulous notes.
Yeah, I mean,
Tyler, how are your notes looking? Mine, I looked back in mine and I was spitting so much stuff, I wasn't actually typing it at the same time. So I have like holes in my notes.
yeah, well, I'll go ahead because actually our post-game chat made me change one of the parts of our theories because Seth shared something that actually contradicted something we thought previously. But basically,
Spoilers.
for what I'm about to say. Yeah, so basically, we know that somehow the Winged One is connected to Venali. We know that the Winged One is the true architect behind the moot itself, which was a big revelation we found out last time. So he must in some way be allied with Venali or working in tangent with him, because Venali was the one who, like, you know, invited everyone to the moot, set it up, who faked his own death with, I think, the hopes of making it to Raz Dahor. So we know that. But the bigger part, which this was a crazy one that we figured out with Jose as well, the celestial radiance. So basically, the celestial radiance of Adroxa is in Raz Dahor, but because it's separated somehow from this plane, I think through the Stellar Umbra, she has basically memories that are locked in Raz Dahor that she does not have access to, hence why, like, she doesn't remember the wedding ring thing and why she sent us on this fetch quest without having a memory of it, even though she had the key the whole time to stopping him. The thing that differed from what we thought that Zalad was involved, but Seth said after the session that my visions that I had seemed like...
Oh, it was someone you knew, right?
Yeah.
You said it was someone you knew, and you don't know what Zalad looks like.
Yeah, so it makes it seem like, at this point, my father Vinali is trying to manipulate me into being some sort of conduit for what he's going to become. You know, maybe it's his kingdom he's trying to make. Maybe I almost have this weird sense that like I might become some sort of beast that's going to help him in a way. I've had a lot of like beast-like visions, and that's been a big theme of my character. So but yeah, and we think that their ultimate goal, I put part of this in the chat as well. We think part of their goal is to like allow Raz-Duhor to escape from this destruction and perhaps even bring it to the material plane, which would be insane. If they were to somehow make it to the Cerulean Garden, perhaps invade or make a name for themselves in the plane somehow. But at that point, it's more conjecture than anything. But we do know for a fact now that they are working together.
I think the biggest like connecting piece there is like this domain is vanishing.
Yeah.
Right. So, who's the person in charge of this domain again? What was their name? There's so many names flying around.
In what?
Zalad is like
Zalad.
Zalad, yeah, he's
is
the
like
emperor.
the overarching ruler.
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
Jalaran.
So in order to either, save himself, or in order to save himself and or his kingdom, he either needs to remake his kingdom or bring it into another plane. And so he's trying to he's like conspiring with the Winged One to potentially maybe use the celestial radiance as like a power source, or it's in some way use it or harness it to save this plane, this domain.
Yeah. The only thing that's shaky now though is like I don't know if Zalad is tied to this anymore because we don't have any direct proof that he is. The only person we have direct proof of is Vinali being involved in this plot and the Winged One.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing though that we figured out, I just found this in my notes. The Winged One is trying to get the Celestial Radiance to regain his angelic form.
Yep.
His true form.
Which for those of you as a reminder, the Winged One is Asura's father.
Yeah.
Yes.
Daddy!
And somehow his mother got his form that he should have gotten, which is another mystery.
Yeah, so there's there's a couple of interesting things there, where the Winged One, Asura's father, was an angel prior to the Great Steeping, but was reduced to a mortal form in that of an Aasimar after the Great Steeping. Ass. In form of ass. Dumbass.
How'd you get all that ass?
So he
apparently
apparently is looking
donkey.
to regain his divinity or celestial energy, and all compasses are pointing towards Raz-Duhor right now, where it just came to light that part of Adroxa's radiance, which, as a reminder, like a radiance is kind of like a dragon's soul almost. It's their like life force, their energy, their chi that they're able to separate from themselves at some point, or at some points in time, and are able to just use that to absorb more energy and become more powerful. But we know that Adroxa's is at least partially trapped inside of Raz-Duhor at this time. So, yeah, Vinali and the Winged One are working together to try to open those doors. So, back here in this repository, this great repository of knowledge, is there anything else you want to ask this creature here? Or
we have the
would you
ability
rather,
to walk around, right, and just kind of look
you
at
can
his
walk
books.
around and do research on your own. You did learn the most important thing for your immediate objective, which is figuring out how to kill Odrakthir.
Mhm.
But perhaps there is more around, like useful information either on the histories of Thalas Ashana, or perhaps even more information to try to take out vampires, because it does seem, unsurprisingly, with how the Jalaran are somewhat vampiric in appearance and behavior, in that a lot of them drink blood. That vampires have some sort of deep-rooted but maybe kind of obscured history in Thalassashana, that there are these ancient vampires here. So maybe, perhaps here, where this building is amidst ancient ruins and is presumably ancient itself, could hold more knowledge in that.
Oh, that's cool.
Or you can just keep funneling magic items towards this guy.
Yeah.
Do we even have any more?
Yeah, I don't have. I have one I could give up, but I have a feeling it's gonna affect the campaign if I give it up.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
that's some intrigue
I don't think
right
it's
there.
worth
You know?
it. I don't think it's worth it.
Is it an artifact level item?
Yep.
The Tome of Sworn Enemies?
Ryan,
Yeah. I mean, granted, like.
I may have more items. Who knows?
Wait, I was gonna ask. Do you still have the time ring?
The what? I don't know what that is.
The time
He's
ring?
talking about the grain of black sand.
I don't know.
Oh, it's not a ring.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
He never shared that with us. We don't know it exists.
Well, I know, but like it's out of like.
I gave him the candle. I need to just delete items.
Yeah.
I gave him the candle of the deep.
Underwater candle.
Yeah.
Yeah, underwater candle.
Elijah gave him the dice, the charlatan's dice.
I can think of at least 2 areas we could ask him about.
The pull of
Oh,
collapsing was
I gave him the
given
pull
up.
of. Yeah. I gave him the pull of collapsing.
It has to be like fun stuff, right?
No, I think it just has to be a magical item.
Should
Yeah,
we
he
just look
seems to
around
value
first, though?
magical items. Someone tried to give him a chest
chest
piece,
piece.
or something, and he's
There's
like,
like
well,
a
now.
+1.
Oh, that was me. That was also
scimitar
Derek.
work?
Oh,
A
maybe.
+1 what?
Is it a magic?
Scimitar?
Is it?
Yeah.
It has to
Well,
be
I
a-
don't know. I think +1.
Oh my god, I
Oh,
forgot
he-
I
he-
took a shit ton of
Yeah,
damage last session.
He won't take it if it's like.
Yeah, I did too.
So you could just kind of
Yeah,
give
he's
it
not.
to him.
He's
and see what
not.
he
He's
does.
not. He's
Oh.
seems to be not like very
Jimmy.
deceptive
Not-
or anything.
Yeah.
As a character, he seems to take into consideration your deal and then just reject it or take it. He's not trying
Yeah.
to trick you in any way.
I'm gonna
Yeah, go
there.
I'm gonna offer him the arcane, the uncharged.
Wait, can you offer him
arcane charge.
Baxter?
The uncharged.
No, I
Is that
can't.
like the bomb?
Yeah, if he has any interest in it.
Wait, is that? Wait, did I?
Fine.
If was that the one that was used?
Oh, yeah. So
So that
do I have
one
anything left
should
of
be
it? I guess I
completely
probably have-
destroyed. Like that thing just vaporized itself and.
I
like,
have a
everything in, like,
drawing of it,
10-foot
I guess.
sphere.
Can I have a,
Oh
can
yeah,
I
you
draw
have the
schematics?
schematics. for-
I'll offer him the schematics of this charge. To see if he has.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Um,
Derek.
Maybe I'll go back to reading the library books. Actually,
Derek the cleric,
which is-
could you
which
spare
is-
some healing for your best boys, Asura and Roksana?
Did you guys get
Oh, yeah,
attacked
that's
by the
true,
dog?
yeah.
What happened? Or is
No,
We
by
took
the
psychic
dog.
damage.
When he like pulls information out of you, it has a severe psychic impact, and they each took a lot of damage. Oscar took 37 psychic damage,
Holy shit!
and Roksana took 45 psychic damage in the last session.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the price of knowledge
Price of
that nobody
knowledge.
knows.
Of Ty Lopez.
Thank you, Tyler.
Do you want a new car?
So yeah,
Yeah,
you,
I'm
you,
gonna.
wait, you
I'll
said
look through my
Vinny,
spells real quick.
that you might want to look into the library, right?
yeah, I think that's probably
So-
what Fogel was doing maybe last session.
Yeah, like
But
maybe as
I would like
all
to-
this was happening with the individuals who were actually trading with and taking the deals of.
I'll
this
wait to
creature.
cast stuff until we're completely done with the Nothic, so that everyone gets the healing.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
All right, so
What do I have?
why don't we go over to Fogel for a second? Fogel, is there anything specific that you want to research while you're here or look for information on, or would you rather you just like roll an investigation check and I'll give you like vague hints as to like what you can choose from as information?
Yeah, I'd probably start with the investigation, and if something like piqued his eye, depending on what's available in this treasure trove, he might follow that route. But I don't think he'd be specifically seeking information on. I mean, on anything. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
doing.
So why don't you go make an investigation check, and then I'll see what. I'll give you some options. A 10. Okay. Let me take a look real quick. Your original goal in here was to find ways to kill Odrakthir, correct?
Yeah.
Like that was the whole goal of all this. A 10 is exactly, you would have gotten what was actually retrieved last session, which was the journal written by Adroxa herself. So unfortunately with that, you did, amidst this huge pile and scattered things all around, it's hard to find something that
Can I use my
specifically-
inspiration to? Is it too late?
You can use it to reroll, of course.
I'm gonna use it. Sometimes I go the session without using it, and not this session.
24 is a lot better, and you have a lot more options. Here's how this is gonna work. I'm basically just gonna give you an option of like one thing, one piece of knowledge that you can grab from that check.
Knowledge.
There are some that are DC 15, some that are DC 20, and I'll just give you vague indications as to what they are actually about. There's a DC 15 check for finding out information on vampires. A DC 20 check for finding information on vampires.
Ooh.
A DC 15 check that I'm going to be a little more vague about this one. It has to do with some sort of like magical process, like a more intricate knowledge or like treatise on a specific type of magical process. But I'm gonna be vague about that one because you didn't ask for anything in specific, so the only thing I'm gonna kind of give more of a nod towards is like the vampire related stuff. And then a DC 20 unrelated to the vampires or the other thing.
And am I allowed to know what the check is, or does it depend on?
What do you mean? What the check is?
Against the DC.
I mean, you can either choose a DC 15 or DC 20 check. Yeah, you can. Oh, are you asking like if you can choose for like the vampire?
Or like, what am I roll? Do I know what I'd be rolling for, just so I know?
Like the skill.
No, you already made the check.
Oh.
So like what I'm saying is these are the DCs that you would have passed.
Oh.
But I'm letting you
okay.
pick which specific thing to have passed on. The last one is a DC 20 check. It's completely divorced from the other things as well.
Let's do that.
So you can either take the DC 15 or 20 related to vampires, that's what you know, or that DC 15 or that DC 20 that have nothing to do with vampires.
I want to do the final DC 20 that has nothing to do with vampires.
Okay. This one is an interesting one. Looking around just this sea of books, which you're actually it's kind of upsetting you, I would bet. Because you used to be like the kind of like the keeper of a library yourself, essentially, right? You were a librarian.
I was,
in the Cerulean Garden. Just seeing it in this much disarray is upsetting, even though there's no place to put any of these books that are on the ground. Like, this is just an overfilled library. But kind of like setting some related things aside and trying to form stacks out of them to at least give it some form of organization, you find on like the center circular like island over here where maybe a librarian would stand, you can see something kind of like tucked away under it, so like on the inside of this central island. And it's not just one thing, it's a few. It appears to be several glass display cases that have been tucked away, and they're kind of hidden or obscured in shadow and various piled books. But you kind of take them off to the side and you clear some space away on the counter. And you find that these are, it's a set of like truly ancient stone tablets.
Whoa.
Within these various display cases. And etched into these stones' coarse surfaces is a pictographic depiction of, like, it takes you a while, but with like your check, you're able to actually organize them into some form of a story. So it's a depiction of events, whether it be mythological or perhaps nonfiction. And you spend some time looking at this, and you've dealt with histories a lot, and you're able to, they're not really hieroglyphs, more like, think of them more as like caveman drawings almost. Although not as crude as that per se. It's more of like an artistic depiction of things. So the first one, and you were able to figure out like, okay, these are definitely like based on these little defining characteristics here. It's a vampire. So just like an actual vampire, not an elf or anything. It's a vampire, kind of laying on the ground with one hand outstretched. It appears that this vampire is dying or near death. And it encounters some form of what you think was like originally the sun, which, you know, would kill vampires, right?
Huh.
Or at least that's what
Yeah.
like the myths are. It doesn't appear that after like a while of looking at it, doesn't appear that it's being destroyed by this object, but it's reaching out towards it as if it's like grasping for it. It's not the sun. It's some sort of representation of divinity, maybe. So something divine or godly. Then after you arrange them, this next tablet depicts what you would assume to be the same vampire standing healthily and proudly with this radiance, this divine radiance above its head, and a bunch of other like vampires, which are drawn as or carved as smaller or like lower in form of, so like these smaller vampires to distinguish them from this larger one, are all like reaching out towards it almost in like a worshipping style way. And then there's a few more vampires off to the side that appear to not be necessarily worshipping. They seem to be in some form of like held in higher regard than those who are kowtowing and praying and kneeling. Then the next one over depicts it's a stark change where this overarching, like this grand important vampire is sitting on a throne again with this divinity floating above it. And instead of other vampires in this shot, you can actually see depictions of several dragons
Oh no.
visiting
Oh shit.
this vampire. And it appears, just like based on everything that's going on, that there's definitely some sort of graphical depiction of words being spoken, whether it just be like lines from the mouth or whatever it is. It appears that there's some sort of discourse going on between the vampire and these dragons. And the next one is another picture with the vampire and these dragons again, except this one, he's holding this divinity. So it appears that this divinity can be touched, interacted with. Perhaps it's some sort of object. And he's actually holding it and handing it down towards the dragons, but kind of on the opposite side of this being. So like, say he's extending out with his right hand holding this object and granting it to the dragons. Another dragon is flying into the sky, and you can see these wisps coming off of the dragon as if the dragon is, I guess, like, disseminating. It's separating itself, exploding, whatever it might be. And you can see like these wisps are kind of being guided into like these positions of stars. It looks like this dragon is turning into the night sky.
Oh no. This is coming together now.
The next one is the dragon's now holding this divinity, this object. You can see it tear this divinity apart. So like it looks like the big object, and then a small fragment of it in one of these dragons' other hand is being given back to the vampire. And in the next tablet, all the dragons are gone. It is this grand vampire. It's holding this smaller fragment of divinity and is squeezing some sort of liquid from it. And all these other vampires, all these lower vampires again, are depicted in the same image. They're kneeling again, but with their hands cupped outwards, like they're ready to receive whatever liquid this is being squeezed from the divinity. And then the final tablet is the vampire sitting on a throne in this grand city that has been erected. And he's seated on this throne above all others. Underneath him are depicted these lower vampires, but they're not depicted in the same way as they were anymore. They don't really have the pronounced, like super pronounced fangs that made you realize they were vampires in the first place. So like all these lower beings are no longer vampires per se. And then you do see a depiction of several vampires outside of the city as well. Perhaps the same vampires from like one of the earlier ones where it was not quite the lower masses, but those who were held in higher regard, but not quite this great vampire itself. Give me now. This is a lot of like a guessing game on your part, so I'm gonna let you now make either history check, an arcana check, or a religion check. And if you succeed on whichever one you choose, it'll net you a different piece of just like, I'm gonna tell you the information that you're able to decipher. Whether it be from like your own knowledge or looking at other books around, as this is like giving you inspiration to like maybe look into these events seriously.
I will make an arcana check.
You want to go and make an arcana check? All right.
Hey.
This last tablet, where they're not really vampires anymore, it's become more clear to you now that all these lower masses are not vampires, but they appear to be Jalaran. So and you draw this connection between the last two tablets. Whatever this liquid that was being squeezed from this divinity in the second to last tablet was drunk by the vampires, and then they became not vampires anymore.
Oh my goodness.
And they became Jalaran.
So are those the people at the city or back in the other place?
These are the people. Well, it depicted like these masses in the city,
Yeah.
and then I guess the important distinction in that one is that the things that were outside of the city and perhaps like by design were like meant to be depicted outside of the city were like the few other vampires
Oh, okay.
that remain. So there's this great vampire who's still depicted as a vampire in the last one. Several other important vampires that are outside of the city, separate from him, and those masses again. So like I guess it's more so depicting like, oh, these are the people that are under this vampire's rule.
And those are the Jalaran.
Those are the Jalaran.
All right, cool. That's what I thought. This is crazy. This is wild. I don't know if any of you guys are as into this, but like, holy shit.
No, this is like
I need some
revelatory. This is
connecting of the
insane.
dots, but I
Yeah.
know how significant
like-
it is just with like them depicting a vampire, like giving something and then it turning vampires to Jalaran is the biggest thing that I got away from that. But I need more dots connected after
I know
someone
it's-
else decodes it.
I know it's significant, but my vampire lore knowledge is not up to par, so I can't
Yeah, I
actually
think that's the biggest thing right now is my vampire lore.
I mean, I guess it kind of answers a question that's been, or I guess it's more so like confirmed something that's been a suspicion for some time, like maybe in Tyler's eyes, which
So
we've
this is-
seen an example of vampires becoming not vampires again.
So this is a
in-
depiction
in
of the
Mira.
past?
Yeah. These are like
Yeah, this is a
historical
depiction
events.
of these are historical
Okay, okay,
events
okay.
etched into stone tablets.
Okay,
okay. You've seen that in Mira, and this basically now confirms what's been a like part of a theory or like a maybe a hunch, like maybe it's true, maybe it's not, that the Jalaran themselves were once vampires in the distant past.
Is there any further depiction of what happens to those like stars that you said were separated from that shard of divinity?
I guess an Arcana check could kind of gather this as well. That this dragon was becoming the night sky. Kind of
Okay.
in like this exchange for the divine object.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so that seems to be a Droxa. Is it like a huge leap to assume that the night sky could be the stellar umbra?
It's not a huge leap at
Okay.
all. Because the night sky holds like a very high importance in like Jalaran history, right?
Some would say.
The stellar umbra is known about. It's the perpetual night sky.
So
And you also have this information that Adroxa's radiance is powering the stellar umbra.
he made a deal with the dragons to accomplish this?
It appears so, yes.
Oh, okay. So Adroxa.
It appears that it was an exchange that either Adroxa willingly gave up herself to become the night sky, or the other dragons gave her up to become the night sky in exchange for like getting this object, this divinity, given to them, as if the divinity itself were important to the dragons.
Okay. I have a sinking suspicion that I don't know, because I remember Roksana had a reaction to that like dragon thing that happened in the city with Carrick. Like she had some sort of reaction to it. I have some weird feeling that she's tied to one of these shards of divinity in a weird way.
Wait, no, I think. No, the thing that happened to Roksana and the thing that happened with the dragons was unrelated. It just coincidentally happened at the same time.
Do you
if I'm remembering
remember?
correctly.
This is
that right,
cool.
Seth?
I mean, if I think you guys are getting somewhere. This is again one of those times where you guys are getting really close to something. I think this one would be a check though. I think. It's definitely some sort of intelligence check, and I'll let anybody but Vinny make this check. Like one person you have to choose. I think you could either choose like an Arcana check or a religion check. So if Vogel chooses
Trash
to like
above
share
boards.
this information and like
Not
his
good at
findings,
either.
Wait,
Yeah, I'm
wait,
bad at both those.
can anyone do it? It says I have a +10 to Arcana, so I think
Let's
that's
go.
I think there's a good chance. There's a good chance.
Go for it.
Yeah.
You still have inspiration.
What's inspiration? Is that advantage or is that
you can
Oh,
choose
plus
for it to
a-
be advantage or a reroll. So like you might as well just use a reroll if you need it.
okay?
22.
22.
Oh!
Nice.
Because you guys were on like a bit of a tangent there, or like a line of thought that was like, oh, there was some reaction in Roksana, as well as I guess it was God, Caleb has too many
Iftuk.
characters. Iftuk, yeah. Iftuk came out like came out. He's gay. Iftuk came out when this event occurred, and Roksana had some sort of deep reaction to it. The event that triggered all of this, as he found out going into the sewers, was an act of the Philosopher's Stone being used to
convert Mira from vampire back to Mira.
Yep, to convert Mira back from being a vampire.
Oh yeah, you're right, Jose. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just simultaneous.
It was simultaneous.
And I guess with like 2 good checks there, that's the thing though, right? It's the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone is the thing that was used to convert people back.
Oh shit. Is that a divine object in some way?
Oh, it is. It's a piece of divinity. This was literally explained to us. It is a literal piece of godlike power that's been condensed into like that stone. Seth made a fucking huge deal about this.
Oh, is that why Lady Tiamat is gathering them? Because she's also on this plane, remember?
Yeah, she also has a Philosopher's Stone. She has one.
I mean,
the stones,
someone
the stones
explain.
are fragments.
My memory's not that good.
Are fragments of the divine object.
This is blowing my mind because she could have her own goals.
This divine object, from it were born the dragons. Originally, like in the other world. So like this object is what created some of the most powerful beings in existence. So kind of eschewing back to the stone tablets. That's why the dragons found it important, right? It's a divine object. It's important to them. It holds like immense, infinite even, draconic energy. But perhaps in whatever this exchange was, the dragons had to give something over back to this vampire, which appears to be a Droxa, and turning her radiance into the Stellar Umbra, and a fragment of this divine object in return, so that this vampire could use it to turn vampires en masse into Jalaran, or non-vampires.
So the figure that seems to be Zalad in this situation, he started out with a divine object, right, before the dragons even showed up, or did he receive it from the dragons?
It was depicted as a lot bigger.
Oh, so he gave them
and it
some.
looked like in this moment where he was nearly dying, that he found this, or like maybe it showed itself to him. Who knows?
Yeah, I remember that.
It was
vision.
depicted as him reaching towards it. Yep, that was also in a good catch.
Yep.
That was in one of your blood memories.
Yep, I remember that.
This in the snow, like in a blizzard, like this being near death. Seeing in the way it was depicted in the vision, I believe, was like a leathery wing.
Yeah.
It looked like a dragon in the vision.
Oh.
But perhaps there's more context now that, there's in those visions there's a lot of like more symbolic things to take out of it. Maybe the leathery wing was like that it is related to dragons in some way, and that this thing that he approached was in fact not a dragon, but the divine object which created all dragons.
Oh, it created all the dragons?
the divine object. This isn't even like a difficult history to know. I think it was also passed in like several checks. The divine object is, think of it as like it doesn't have as much of like a will as the gods, but it is like a god in like a manner of speaking. It's like near infinite energy, and these elemental like forces of nature were born out of it, like these true dragons, like these beings that have like their being is essentially made up of elemental energy. That's why they can like separate their being, their divine or their elemental radiance or divine radiance.
So Zalad found this before they even did? Like what was that?
Yeah, that's like the weird thing, is it's like maybe it's not really, because it's a god in like a manner of speaking, like you can't really contain it all the time. Like if it somehow just, I don't know, wanted to, and I say wanted to like very lightly, as it is supposedly just an object and there's no knowledge of it like actually having that much of a will, like it presents itself to somebody, in this case this vampire, or if it just wants to be somewhere else at some point in time, it could just do so. So perhaps the dragons just didn't like it being in the possession of a creature who's not a dragon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we're willing to like shear off a piece of it and bestow it to him in return for like knowing that it's not in, you know, vampires' hands.
Okay, this makes a lot of sense now. And you said that the piece he ended up with was more diminished. Like he essentially gave them a big portion of it.
Yeah, like they took the whole thing from him. The dragons were able to shear a very small piece of it off and give it back to him.
And Carrick is considered one of the true dragons, right?
Yeah, he is a
One of
very
one of the
ancient,
5, is it?
like I think so. There was like a mini Vinny way back in the day.
And Tiamat is not, right? As far as we know? Or is she?
As far as you know, no. Like, she has never presented herself as a dragon, although Vogel, and I guess everybody has seen her at this point, she has this another thing resembling like a philosopher's stone, so it seems to be another piece of the divine object.
Yeah, it's like embedded in her arm, right?
In her arm, yeah.
Yeah, this is wild.
It has incorporated itself into her being.
Fuck. Well, this definitely answers a lot, but it also raises more questions. Okay. So we know that the Philosopher's Stone is essentially are pieces of this divine object. I
guess the revelation of this thing to gather is that there is likely, unless a lot could have happened between then and now, but that Zalad has a philosopher's stone, essentially, like a piece of the divine object.
Okay. So that could certainly be the Winged One's goal. I don't know how this is related to the Celestial Radiance. Maybe they're different things. Maybe he's just after one or the other, but like if you can regain divinity by the Celestial Radiance, seeing as it's a piece of this object, or Zalad's piece of this object, I mean, both of those would accomplish his goal.
Yeah, and in a way, the true dragons themselves are pieces of the celestial object, right?
Oh, is that why he was fucking in the city with Carrick in the first place? Because Carrick has presumably his own part of that.
Yeah, at least like he is part of it. Like that's kind of what the radiances are of true dragons.
Okay.
And I guess there's some interesting, not very useful, like very niche applications of the Philosopher's Stone Vinny that also kind of allude to this, right?
The dragon.
That when you show, like, present the Philosopher's Stone to a dragon, and the dragon is seeing it for the first time, and needs to succeed on a save or like become incapacitated for some time.
Oh shit.
Right.
Oh wow, that's a lot of. Okay. So, a stone. Hypothetically, could we use the Philosopher's Stone to function like if Fogel wanted to make a quote unquote radiance? Could he do that using the stone? Because it's the same thing,
That's
right?
the question, isn't
Yeah.
it? That's the question, isn't it? And that's a very interesting question, considering part of like the actual magic item, the Philosopher's Stone.
Because now I'm a bit scared because Melusine had access to you. And she could have easily done something during that interval with the stone. If it carries that much power.
Oh, and she's been MIA since we got
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So I'm very curious if.
When we met, did she seem like a bad person?
Oh yeah, she's evil. She's the most evil sibling.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
In like D&D lore,
little-
yeah, but like I don't know in this.
Well, what do you mean? Like she's categorically very evil, and like.
Is she?
Yeah.
Well, she has a sweet side though. But yes.
In this campaign?
She's kind of hot though.
Yeah, I mean,
If
in a
evil, why
sense.
hot?
I
Wait,
can
no, in this
fix her.
In this campaign, what has she done that's evil? I can't remember.
Yeah. She imprisoned me
Yeah, she imprisoned and
tortured me.
tortured you. Yeah.
When
for
was this?
for her own sexual fantasies. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was narrated too. Like there's a
Remember-
whole
Terrible?
cutscene.
Remember when Fogel needed to be like ungaslit?
Huh?
Do you
And
not
he I
remember
tried
this?
to-
Were you even there that session?
I
Like
might
Fogel
not-
was gone for like so. Remember when he was abducted by Melusine? Like the
Yeah.
first night you guys were in the domain.
Yeah.
He was turned into her, as Vinny likes to call it, sex slave. But
Right. Melusine,
But,
not
Fogel-
Tiamat.
oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about Tiamat. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about
Oh,
Melusine.
oh.
Okay. That's the. Oh right. That was. It
No.
was just miscommunication. Yeah, we were talking
Yeah.
about Melusine, not
Yeah.
Tiamat.
No, Tiamat
Melusine is
doesn't-
definitely bad.
Yeah.
Tiamat, she hasn't done anything in this
No,
campaign.
no, I don't
Okay,
know
okay.
if she's bad really. We have no proof that she's good or bad really.
When did Mel?
I mean, she
that's-
helped us,
Yeah, exactly.
There's very
Okay, that's why I
little
was
that you
confused,
know
never
about
mind.
her.
but she's just another actor in this playing field that I'm like, what the
Yes.
fuck is her like? It's crazy.
Okay, yeah, Melusine is definitely bad. I don't know how I missed her name.
So do I get the impression, Seth, that dragon feature of the stone is like imbued, like intrinsic to it? Because there was a feature that if you study the stone and develop like a new
Yeah,
use
the
for it.
dragon feature is a permanent feature of the stone.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured.
It is more of a an unmolded piece of the divine object. So like bearing witness, so like for a dragon, bearing witness to like the thing in its raw form that created it is a little bit overwhelming. Is kind of the idea behind that. There's also another feature of it, right? Or I guess it's part of the same thing that dragons are also like kind of attracted to it in a way. Like they're motivated to go towards it if they're within like a certain distance of it. Like even if they can't see it, like they're pulled to it in a way. As if this like piece of the divine object has some sort of gravity that sucks dragons in towards it. Isn't it? It's like call dragons or something. That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's something like that. It is. Call of Dragons, yeah.
Are there any
Yeah,
other wild
so-
features to this item? Because I'd never heard that use before. Like,
it's
That
a very niche
was mentioned
use.
like once.
yeah.
In fact, there is a character who actually failed their save, which was it was why do I keep fucking forgetting his name?
Wasn't it?
Iftuk.
It was it.
Yeah, Iftuk. You weren't there that session, Tyler.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
That's what
I could see
pulled
that.
Iftuk
Iftuk,
out of.
like when it was presented by oh god, another name that I can't for Artyom, Artie. Like when he first showed the group the Philosopher's Stone, Iftuk was just dumbfounded because Dragonborn themselves are also birthed from the stone. So like any dragonkin are kind of birthed from the stone, but it all just depends on like how much energy they were given, which the dragonborn were just like a very small amount, and they have like the ability to like perpetuate and like they don't need to be created from the stone in order to thrive. All right, so moving on from that, we'll let that cook for a bit.
Let that marinate.
Is there anybody else who would want to study here, or do some
Derek
deal with
would
the
like to
Nothic?
study here.
Okay.
Derek would like to see if there are any books related to Jalaran research on like a panacea type deal, like a cure-all, or
That's cool.
like see how much knowledge about medicine the Jalaran have, either for this specific domain or just in general.
Okay. You can go ahead and make a. So you said like panacea.
Yeah.
I
pretty
guess
much.
you're like specifically trying to find something like medical application. I'll let you
Yeah,
make a
like-
medicine check in
like-
this case. And an,
yeah,
an
I don't expect to-
intelligence
Yeah.
medicine check. So just make a medicine check and I'll adjust it to.
Okay. So specifically, like, I'm not expecting to find like the cure-all. I'm like just more trying to intake more information about like different cultures, different races, means of medicine.
Okay.
20.
20. That's pretty good. Adjusting. Sorry, 1 second. So it's an 18 for an intelligence medicine check.
Okay.
You find a lot of books on, or maybe not a lot of books, but the occasional book on some like medical techniques, and a lot of this seems to be like very ancient knowledge. Some of it magical in nature, but a lot of it's stuff that you already know.
Interesting.
But you have this thing like in the back of your mind, like maybe you have a very powerful tool in this room with you right now. That perhaps making a deal with the Nothic could.
Yeah, I know. I want to avoid that. I'm running out of magical
Push you in the
items.
direction.
Okay. Let's see.
And in this entire time, by the way, like the Nothic has just been playing with its new toys.
He's just shaking the candle, trying to put it out in the water.
Yeah, like he shakes it really hard like a snow globe, and it isn't being put out, and he's just focusing really hard on it.
See, I don't want to give him the ever smoking bottle because that thing's been a fucking lifesaver.
The ever smoking bottle has been crazy.
It's been so useful.
You see Derek slip off a ring off one of his fingers, and he just like offers it to the Nothic to see if it's sufficient. It's the ring of fire resistance that Derek casually has had for a while.
So you wish to exchange it for something, then?
Yes, any knowledge about a panacea, a cure-all, the most advanced medicine you could think of.
He takes the ring off of you. He looks at it for a second, kind of again, like his eye is so magical and powerful that he seems to kind of just inherently understand it just by looking at it.
Mhm.
Puts it on, shoves his hand in the jar with the candle like nothing happens. He takes it off, like puts his
Nice.
hand in the jar.
Yeah.
Like he still takes fire damage from the candle even though it's underwater. And then he
What is
puts
it?
it back on, touches it like nothing's happening. And like he kind of twirls the ring around in his palm, and then it disappears for
Oh,
a
good.
moment.
It's been accepted. Sheesh.
Yeah, it's been
Wait, what does
accepted.
this ring do again? I like spaced
It's
out.
a ring of fire
It's a-
resistance.
Yeah, it's a ring of fire
the fire.
resistance.
Right.
He leans in towards you, his face uncomfortably close.
Let's see.
Panacea.
You're pulled into his gaze.
Fail the
And
save.
yeah, I think it's you have to willingly fail the save. Thank you
Oh,
for
yeah,
reminding me, Jose.
Yeah, I'm failing the save.
All right, let me check how much. I think I can just check from the chat actually. Yeah, you're gonna take 10d6 damage.
It won't kill me outright. That's good. That's good.
You're gonna take
Whoa.
41
Whoa.
psychic
Oh
damage.
my fuck!
That was a
good thing
big
we
boy.
waited on the
That was a big
healing.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a biggin.
Ooh. 41.
You there's a motif in this vision. It's weird because I say silhouette, but like this vision at the beginning is darkness, so it's almost like this thin like glowing outline of a tree that
Mhm.
fades in and out like a heartbeat.
The blood of all has flowed through the heart of this place and has been cleansed of impurities. Extract from the heart its essence and transfer it to the seed of your adventure's beginning. Let the nectar of its fruits be called Panacea.
Ooh.
And again, like this vision that accompanies this is very much just this this overall motif and just shape, the symbol of a tree, and it keeps fading in and out with
Mhm.
this like this heartbeat sound.
Mhm.
The blood of all has flowed through the heart of this place, and within like this tree image, this silhouette that you're seeing, like this red, like very dim, faint glow, and it looks like within the tree itself, near its roots, is like an actual like heart in your vision,
Oh, interesting.
and you can see, like the roots of the tree as well, like are sucking blood up and into the heart, which is pumping the blood out through like the tree's various like limbs and leaves, and the leaves take on this dark like brown like reddish hue,
Mhm.
and then you hear that the blood of all has flowed through the heart of this place and has been cleansed of impurities.
Mhm.
There is that sense that as the blood from the roots passes through the heart and is like given to these leaves, that it's like given life and health and vitality, and then extract from the heart its essence and transfer it to the seed of your adventure's beginning. As that phrase enters your thoughts and transfer it to the seed of your adventure's beginnings, the colors that you're seeing, like the heart fades away, all the leaves turn from like this dull brownish red to like actual greenery, and you get a sense that like this tree is now I guess it's more like confined, I guess is the best way to put it. like this tree, despite being like lively and green, is like confined physically in some sort of space. The seed of your adventure's beginning. Let the nectar of its fruits be called panacea. And similar to kind of like the depictions, I guess, in like the stone tablets that Vogel was examining, you can see like these fruits begin to form on the tree, and the fruits themselves they're red and kind of like resemble a heart, but not like a full anatomical heart. And like this nectar, like this red drop, like the color of blood, comes off of this fruit, and just like begins raining down around the tree. And you don't get like it's kind of like gross thinking about it this way, but it's like from just the vision, but you get like this innate sense that it's like good, like it's it's kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So as vague as it is, you need to find the heart of this place, whatever that means.
Yeah, of
You
a
transfer. He said if the heart of this place.
Oh, this place. Like, okay. It's not like the royal this. It is like literally this. Like,
this
okay.
this place.
I.
So it seems to pertain to like the present.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be vague with like some of the wording, but I'm gonna definitely
No, that's fine. That's fine.
With these visions, you do, like as I explained to Tyler, like post session, like there's some like innate understandings that your characters have that are kind of difficult to just convey through like words and imagery. So yeah, you need to extract the essence from the heart of this place and transfer it to the seed of your adventure's beginning. And when that tree grows, it will bear fruit, and the nectar of this fruit will be called panacea.
Sounds fantastic.
You know, I literally named this piece of information to give you panacea.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So
very nice.
So yeah, very cool. You have an idea, like an actual, it's as vague as it is, some sort of process can be performed to accomplish what you're seeking.
Yeah. That's cool. Fuck that ring of fire resistance. This is so much better.
Knowledge.
Knowledge is power.
You see these Lamborghinis in my garage?
Wait. So wait. What happens if I just crush? If when you do the black sand doohickey, what does that change about the present? Do you still retain memory?
Do not.
For the price of one?
I swear.
The way I worded it is yes, you.
That was a joke.
Specifically do.
That was a joke.
That would be a viable use of the object. Like the person who crushes it, yes.
I really want that ring of fire resistance back.
In fact, I am all for you using that incredibly powerful object to get your ring of fire resistance back.
Wild.
Okay. So yeah, that's Derek. Anybody else trying to look up some information? You guys have or just trading for information from the Nothic.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait to trade with the Nothic. I'll let anyone else who wants to do something go first, but
because you still have this whole library at your disposal.
Yeah.
I'll let each person make like one library research check essentially.
Does Roksana know if there are any other portals between this domain and the actual real world?
She
the garden?
kind of used one.
Yeah, the garden.
But at least from there's been several times. I think Ardaber mentioned it. Like there's and like Songbird mentioned it. Currently, there's 0 way of getting out of the domain. Like the doors to Rostohor have been locked, and with it, any like means of planar magic to escape the domain. So you guys are currently stuck in this decaying domain, which makes getting into Rostohor ever more important.
Not if I just banish
Except,
myself.
yeah, except possibly by the banishment spell. You don't belong here. But there would be no way of getting back in, probably.
Yeah.
If you did banish yourself. So you'd be leaving the domain to its fate. Okay, actually, I guess, I don't know why I, like, asked. Does anybody not want to just make a research check? For any particular reason? No? Well, everybody except for Fogel, because he already did one, can make an investigation check.
Oh, nice. I'm actually not half bad.
Oh,
at that.
plus-
Like, even me? Or
Oh no!
Plus
the
8.
end?
Wait, I'm gonna re-roll mine.
Yeah, even
Nice.
you, Derek.
Nice, much better.
So
than the
you,
second one.
you've
Yeah, I
only
guess
made
so.
a trade and then like helped.
Let's go. 23,
Well,
buddies.
I'm gonna use my reroll too.
All right.
Just
Well, you might not need to. Let me check how
Okay.
many pieces of information I actually have, because that might the 16, the 23, and the 23 might actually cover the rest of the information.
Let's go.
So those are probably the rolls that you guys needed to like kind of milk this place for any remaining information. I guess I'll start with the 23s since Roksana rolled first. Roksana, would you like to know either a DC 15 or a DC 20 check regarding like vampires, or a DC 15 check regarding some sort of magical process?
I'll do the DC 20 based on vampires.
Okay.
Take a DC 15 for 300.
So what you find, because like there's these people making deals with the Nothic. You guys are gonna be here for like several hours. Like Fogel's thing, it's not like he just arranged it like some puzzle in a video game and it made sudden sense to him. Like he took notes on it. He like referenced several other books in here, and that was kind of like the object of his focus during your guys' time here. Your focus is you're looking for more information on dealing with vampires, and most of what you find is kind of like what you already know, like they're undead abominations. It's kind of like this whole, like, Jalaran hate vampires, so there's like some degree that you would know about vampires, but DC 20. Amid the disorganized piles of books on the floor, a bard's retellings of various folklore from around the other world stands out as an entertaining aside from more serious research. Surprisingly, though, one account seems to be a highly detailed analysis of vampires, so meticulous that it reads more like a crackpot conspiracy. The ramblings separate vampires into groups based on their vices. At least the person that this bard like is writing the story from claims there are 4 such vices: flesh, blood, thought, and soul, and that certain precautions can be taken to weaken a vampire based on its respective vice. I'll just like quote various excerpts from this. So quote, vampires with flesh vices pick the bones of their victims clean, thus throwing salt at such vampires, as if salting the bones of the dead will cause their shriveled skin to burn and their power to wane. Unquote. Another excerpt, quote, Those with the vice of blood exsanguinate their prey. By making one's own blood flavored foul by eating garlic, the hunter's greatest weapon will be turned against it. Unquote. Another, quote, dealing with vampires that consume thought is troublesome, especially if such a monster hides within its chosen bond. One must entice the vampire out of the bonded person's mind, then place upon the bond a leaden helm to leave the vampire vulnerable. Unquote. And finally, quote, it is ironic that a creature so vain as to feast upon souls is combated by showing it its own reflection. Looking upon itself in the mirror, the vampire's captured souls momentarily escape and hinder it. It is requisite that the mirror has a silver backing. Unquote. So perhaps
that was all very useful.
those are the way that again it's almost reads as a crackpot conspiracy because of like how detailed this like account of vampires is. Like maybe it's so detailed because it might hold some truth into it. So these could be if you know the vice of the vampire that you're up against, maybe you can use one of these countermeasures against it to get the upper hand against it.
Nice, that's interesting.
Write that down. Write that down.
I'll write it down. Don't worry.
Okay, we'll go to Asura now. You have two DC 15 checks to choose from.
Magic.
One has to do with vampires, and the other one has to do with a magical process of sorts.
Yeah, let's do the finger taps magical process.
Magical process, okay. A hefty tome chained to one of the shelves is an extensive treatise on the creation of magical contracts. And you were thumbing through all of these titles and like beginning to like read like at least their openings to see if they might have anything interesting. And magical contracts definitely struck you as interesting, even if it's not necessarily related to vampires, because you are currently in a magical contract. One of its chapters even speaks of ending magical contracts outside of their normal terms. So here's just like 2 bullet points from that chapter that might be interesting. Many contracts can simply be dispelled. The power of the dispelling required depends on the quality of the contract's materials and the power of its drafter. The second point of interest. While not permanently ending them, any magical contract's effects are suspended while an affected party is within an area of anti-magic.
Wait. Any magic contracts can be suspended when they're in an area of anti-magic?
Yep,
When
so essentially
either of the contractors?
So like anybody who is like who's affected by a magical contract, if they're within an area of anti-magic, then the contract doesn't really understand itself, and like the magic is suspended for like everyone involved in the contract.
Oh, so even if the contractor is
so like even if like
both.
Yeah, so for example, even if you were in an area of anti-magic, both you and like Songbird wouldn't be affected by your magical contract. He had separate contracts for all of you.
Right.
Like you're not all bound together by a single contract.
So if Songbird's in an anti-magic area and I'm not, then what does that do?
Then that means the effects of the contract are nullified for you and Songbird.
Oh, so for both.
And it would presumably it would be for you and everyone. Songbird and everybody that Songbird has a contract with.
Let's kill him.
So wait, and then what was the first one? Can be dispelled.
The first one is many contracts can simply be dispelled. The power of the dispelling required depends on the quality of the contract's materials and the power of its drafter.
Oh, we should totally use this to kill him.
I think that's why he's giving it.
He's
to us.
but he's like in the room though because he
Yeah,
can
but I'm
see
not saying
through-
this out loud.
Yeah, Asura is the one who's reading this right
I'm
now.
not saying this
Yeah,
out loud.
I'm saying this out of character.
I would.
Okay.
I'm saying it's interesting to you
Oh, I didn't
because
do
you're
this.
in a contract with Songbird, and so yeah, I would guess that Asura would not be like saying all this out loud, like, "Hey guys, I figured out how to get out of the contract with Songbird."
What was the last part that depends on the power of the creator?
Well,
Essentially, like
drafter.
like the quality of the
drafter.
materials
Yeah,
used to make the contract. So like the magical ink, the magical parchment, and the power of its drafter. So in game terms, it can act as essentially like X, like spell level X for dispel magic.
Yep.
And like you either choose the proper level spell to dispel it, or you need to make a check against a specific DC based on a combination of those two things.
Okay, understood.
Okay,
Interesting.
and finally,
Oh my God, this
Elijah.
fucking ocean.
Yes.
Just making enough to get this final DC 15.
Let's go.
A book on one of the tightly packed shelves is titled Encyclopedia of Flora and Fauna Celestia.
Oh.
While the title would indicate that the book is a repository for knowledge on angelic beings, it is instead occupied by entries on creatures such as werewolves, which are influenced by celestial bodies. So it's more of like a literal, like celestial, so like the stars and the moon and the sun, and creatures that have some sort of relation to those celestial bodies, as opposed to like actual celestials. There's an entry for vampires, which are undead, cursed to be ever avoidant of the sun. There are two pertinent notes on vampires, which probably won't be too surprising to you. The first is that weak or weakened vampires have their regenerative abilities halted by energies which resemble those of the sun. Which in game terms is radiant energy, like
Yep.
radiant damage. High vampires normally lack this weakness. That's why it said weak or weakened vampires. The second bullet point is that all vampires, so not just weak or weakened, are vulnerable to true sunlight, which will destroy them wholeheartedly after only a few moments, regardless of how powerful they are. In game terms, that means literal sunlight. So, unfortunately for you in Thal's Ashana, there's the Stellar Umbra, which makes it perpetually night. Or there are certain spells that specifically say that they create true sunlight.
Like sunlight.
There's some like weird spells that like sound so close that like you would like assume that they make sunlight, but they don't. Like I think Dawn is one that makes sunlight. There's some might be something to look into. So yeah, you guys are able to spend some hours here collecting all of that information. Now, is there anybody else who wants to take up a deal with the Nothic? Or are you guys done
Deal with
here?
the
Are
dog.
there is there anything else that is that needs to still be explored here?
If anyone has one more item, I don't have any. Otherwise, I would. I do have a question we could ask, but if people are content with what we have so far, then
What's
that's
the
fine
question?
too.
What's the question?
Yeah, what's the question?
Like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
think about how to phrase it exactly, right? But we don't really know Zalad's part in this. Like, if he has a big part in what's happening, like he might be the one pulling the strings, or he might be the one being manipulated by the Winged One and Venali, my father. So I was gonna ask like what about him and like what he's up to, because like that's I think the party we know the least about currently.
Either that or Tiamat.
Yeah, I mean that's just I have a feeling she might be on our side in a weird way. Like she might be trying to stop what's happening, but I don't think she's like gonna be an antagonist really.
Unless he takes a first level spell scroll. I'm out.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to part with any of more of my magic items. They're the ones we actually use.
Yeah.
Does the +1 weapons count as magical items? It says magical item.
Yeah, they are magical items.
Oh, I'll give you a +1 scimitar, nothing else.
Let's go.
Like it's literally just +1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give that to him. And I'll say, tell me about Salad and his dealings. What he is up to in his spire in Ras Duhor. I wish to know about it.
Hold on, do you have enough health for this?
Oh.
Oh yeah, you guys might want to go through a whole
Yeah, I will not survive another hit.
Okay, well, I'll cast some healing while he's talking.
Let's go.
Like Roksana has forgotten, but like Derek's like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Why don't we? What are you doing a healing
Back
spell for
real
like
quick.
multiple people?
You stop. You stop.
yes,
Shove
please.
the potion down the throat. Or something. Oh,
What
actually,
did you say, Seth?
Or are you? What spell are you gonna do?
I will
There's a lot of
say.
hurt right now.
Okay. Maybe I put like before Roxana finishes her sentence, I like look at the Nothic. I like lower the item. 1 second, Roxana, and you wait 10 minutes, and I cast Prayer of Healing.
Yes, let's go.
What's prayer of healing?
It's a ritual, not a ritual, but it's a 10-minute cast, but it's 2d8 plus spellcasting ability modifier
Oh,
for
yeah,
6
that's
targets.
great.
So that's just
Oh,
that's just
shit.
everyone.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Snake eyes.
Shut up. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
12. Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna live still. How much health do you have?
I now have 41.
Okay,
You
well
might.
that was the damage value that he killed. He hit me
I
with.
know, but I got
so-
like 45 on mine before. I don't know.
That's true.
Do we want to do
So,
a
yeah,
we want
everybody
second
who's
with healing?
missing-
Let me add this. So I
Alright.
can, what's 29 plus 12? 42.
41.
21?
Oh, you had exactly the same health as me. That's crazy.
Do I have? Okay.
So
wait,
by the
let
way,
me see.
anybody who's missing health gets 12 back right now.
Yes.
Let's see. Can I use this on? Oh, okay, Roksana. You know what? You can have. Two of these.
Nice.
Maybe 3 of these.
No, okay, never mind.
Let's go.
9.
Let's go.
Give me
Alright.
3.
All right, I should be I should be good unless Seth rolls all 10s. Then I'm fucked. But I'll
Does he still get the information if he rolls all if you die?
I just get teleported to Ras Duhor. And my soul just launches there. Yeah, I'll risk it.
How much? Wait, how much more health do you?
I'm at 50 right now. I feel like that probably should be fine.
Okay.
Famous last word.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm scared if I go down, but we'll find out.
Sorry, not like we're in a combat. Right?
Yeah. So I'll say what I said before to the Nothic.
Okay. He does take the scimitar.
Sheesh.
He takes it. It doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he does play with it. Who knows? Maybe
does
he's
that thing-
twirling it around.
No, he
and,
does
like,
that thing.
balancing, like, the
He
tip of the
balances
blade
it
on
on
his
one
finger.
finger. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, like sword swallowing. Sword swallowing.
Oh.
Oh whoa.
One sec. Okay, he takes it. He, almost like a duelist, about to enter a bout, holds the very, very thin blade of the scimitar, like perfectly, like symmetrically separating his eye in like half from your view, Roksana. And everything seems to pull away from you. Like everything in your peripheral vision seems to go by you so quickly as you travel senselessly through the void.
His is the heart that beats. Its thrumming hides behind the blood of his kin, whispering to them. They think their machinations their own, but are indeed the ones machined. He will be free of his prison, and all will bear witness to his light, which blots the sun.
So, his is the heart that beats. You see faces flashing by you, some that you recognize, although very quickly, so you're not able to like place the thought in your head as to who it is specifically, and some that you don't, like many that you don't, or have never seen before. But all of these faces, Jalarin. Its thrumming hides behind the blood of his kin, whispering to them. You see, again, it's this image that's popped up so many times for you. It's this glade, this moonlit glade, like this grove amidst a forest, where there's this reflective pool, and it's almost like a continuation of in your other vision with the Nothic, that you saw your father get pulled in, and this time it's like it's just the still water, and then your father stepping out of it. His skin paler, his fangs longer. They think their machinations their own, but are indeed the ones machined. It's, again, this vision of your, now, like, for sure, like, you recognize their faces, although, or actually, this wasn't your vision, I don't think, this was Osira's vision, where it was, like, various, like, maimed and decapitated and just, like, brutalized faces of your various half-siblings that you've killed in this case.
That was mine. That was mine.
He will be free of his prison, and all will bear witness to his light, which blots the sun. The first part of that sentence is it's like this representation of chains on like this magnificent gate entering a city, and you can see that there are 5 such massive chains, and right now there are 2 of them that are not locked onto the gate and fall loosely down its bars, and will bear witness to his light, which blots the sun. A vision of, how do I describe this? A almost like a meteor. Like this huge, like floating patch of land, crashing down to green earth
Yep.
and
Oh
like a
boy.
like a nuclear dust cloud
Oh yeah.
that
Yep.
completely blocks out the sun.
What?
We're
the
going to the
fuck,
garden,
dude?
boys.
Oh,
Let's take this and move it somewhere else. You
move
guys
it
got
somewhere else.
You got it right last time,
I
probably.
was fucking spot on. That's crazy.
Yeah. This is sick though. And so it's crash landing into somewhere that's green. Does it look like the Cerulean Garden, or symbolically could be associated with that?
Symbolically, yeah, it's the only place that you know of, or it's like, unless it's the other world, like returning to the other world. It's a place where the sun is shining, and it's the depiction is obviously like this separated piece of Earth, which you can assume is Thalos Ashana, is crashing into this land, and like the dust cloud that's formed, like a volcano, just turns it dark.
Yeah, okay. So he's gonna try to take out the sun in the Cerulean Garden to try to take it over, probably. So that we can invade. Oh, this is interesting, because this doesn't necessarily contradict with what Roksana wants. But it's interesting.
I'm a killer.
Wow, okay, that's huge then. So she starts to put these pieces together, and she almost wonders, like, is it possible that voice she heard beckoning her into that dark pool in that previous vision was Zalad's voice? Because remember, at one point I like refused the call, like something offered me more power for power's sake, and I refused it, and it was this like ancient voice from the black pool in that vision. Could it be like reasonable to assume that was Zalad beckoning me towards that power?
Reasonable to assume, for sure.
Oh shit. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, this is juicy. Okay, yeah, so actually I go back on what I said before. It's clear that Zalad is the big bad in this situation. Whether he's working with my father or outsmarting my father is the question. But they're likely working towards the same goal, if my father knows it or not.
Well, like he just said, right? Like the blah 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 relatives think their machinations are their own, but in reality, it's like his plan. That's probably what he's doing with his dad.
It's probably manipulating him to some extent.
Yeah.
I wonder if he even is manipulated the winged one to a certain extent too. Because if he's the creator of the game, so to speak, and the game needed to be created for this to happen, I wonder if he's even manipulating him. That'd be pretty crazy. That means he must be... I mean, I thought he was powerful, being an immortal vampire, but it puts him on a different scale, I think, in my head. Where now I'm like, holy shit. This is like a crazy level threat. Like not quite a Carrick level, but like probably in the same league. Damn. That's wild. Holy shit. Well, that was definitely worth the scimitar.
No.
So
Fuck the +1 scimitar.
yeah, that was...
What an epic magic item garbage disposal this has been.
I know. Holy shit. And I think with this, like, Roksana takes... Like, she after this vision sort of subsides, like, she takes a long, hard look at the Tome of Sworn Enemies. And she's definitely thinking over in her mind, like, whose name will I be writing in these pages? There's so many options to choose from. Does she write Zalad's name and learn more about him? Does she write her father's name, learn more about him? Does she write the Winged One's name? Well, because essentially I can just take a little bit of damage and like learn a lot of information about them. Like,
Is that how that works?
Yeah, you gotta be a little choosy about it.
Yeah,
though.
it's very
like
risky.
the damage is like
Permanent.
indefinite damage. Like it reduces max HP until the named being dies.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a sacrifice in that way.
But these names are cycling around in her head, like Zalad, the Winged One, Finale. She's like seeing each of their faces as she's looking at this tome.
What was my father's name that he went by before?
I don't know. I'd like you
First
to
name
tell
Winged.
me. That's a
Last
that's a
name One.
backstory shit, dude. I haven't named him yet specifically
Okay,
because
okay.
you can come up with it at some point.
Okay. I
or
won't
if you
say
want help,
anything.
then
I'll just drop it when I finally meet him.
very nice. Because that would be pretty cool considering we've only known him as the Winged One.
We finally meet Wing.
Odd.
Wing.
All right.
Chicken wing.
So if that's just like all the library knowledge that you guys want,
Knowledge.
is there anything else you want to do in the archives? I guess we can, if you guys want to explore the rest of the archives, we can kind of speed through that. I know that just as with all this like revelatory shit going on, just don't want you to forget that Jose figured out a puzzle on the first floor and
Oh shit!
retrieved
The
a
key.
from it.
I should just ask the
Like
thing.
a clockwork key.
I should just ask, but I'm out of magic items I want to give away, so it's not that important. Well, I'm sure we'll find it.
All right, are you guys okay with like just looking quickly throughout the rest of this archive?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's there's actually a lot less shit on the second floor than there was on the first floor. I mean, I guess on this floor there was the whole library, which is like the big thing. I guess I'll move you guys around a bit. You got this room that was more of like a lab type room where people were practicing various forms of like alchemy. There's some partially written like formulae, more so like people were trying to develop formulae for different like alchemical potions and whatnot. Let's see. Then down here. Also, I would assume that like any object on this floor, just as like a heads up, like be careful about taking objects, because the Nothic this seems to be his area around here. Then in this room, it seems to just be like a lecture hall. Going out towards like the courtyard area, there's staircases leading up to like. This is the side of the building that has like the taller tower, so perhaps like an extra floor there. But this is a balcony that looks out to the courtyard.
It's a very good map.
As we go around here, there's another staircase leading up to the third floor. You can see windows peering into what appear to be like dormitories. Or just like sleeping quarters. They seem to be a lot more like bare bones than the ones on the first floor with like very scant like personal belongings. With I think it was like Fogel's check or something, or maybe Osra's check last session. There are those like arcane like elevators on the first floor, so you could probably use those to get up there. Over here. This is like the actual, what's the word? The orrery, I believe is the correct word for that. It's like this mechanical representation of like a solar system or like different celestial bodies
That
and
is
whatnot.
so fucking steampunk, dude. That looks so cool.
There is, weirdly enough, there's no, you look around, it's like a mechanical contraption. There's no slot for like where your key would go. So it looks like this place was mainly used to like study and manipulate like the orrery, like try to like learn about the paths of different celestial objects. And also, anyone can stop me at any point in time if they want to ask questions. Another like dormitory type room, it looks like, with another arcane elevator. And then I guess finally, you guys can go up to the 3rd floor if you so desire.
Yeah, let's go. Did you make this map?
No, I did not. I don't make like any of my maps anymore because it's so time
It
consuming.
takes so long.
This
Let
looks like
me.
it took forever.
Yeah.
So do you plan your route around the maps, presumably?
If I find a map I really like, I try to find a way that I can, incorporate
Incorporate
it into the arc. If it like, so like this one, you see, there's like no snow anywhere,
Yeah.
giving away like part of like my DM thought process. There's no snow anywhere. You guys are like in the Drovir territory, which is like snow covered, and I was like, how the fuck can I fit like a map like this into a place that's supposed to be
Oasis.
like oasis?
The Oasis.
An underground, undermountain oasis, dude. That's what inspired me. Like when I try to work within confines of something, that's where creativity thrives, baby.
Yep.
Let's go to the 3rd floor.
All right, I'm gonna put your guys' token. Oh, I probably shouldn't have activated yet.
Oh, wait, I just realized what happened to the guard that
Can
was
you
with
guys-
us?
Oh yeah, is he still with us?
The guard that was like the
The assassin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's around with you. I think Artiber is also with you.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe Artiber was like in his own research during all of this.
He's just
and, like,
aloof the whole time.
Yeah, he'll share with you later. Like he wanted to come here because like he's like, oh shit, knowledge. Like I can use some knowledge right now to like
What are
research my
these?
own things. But we'll come back to him. What are those things? All right, let's go over there. You can kind of deduce that they're positioned right over the dorms. In some way, it looks like they're supposed to like open up to allow like light in.
Oh, okay, understood.
So it can almost like resemble like turning on and off the lights. And then over here is the actual telescope.
Oh, is there a key slot?
Which, if we recall, when we first entered this area, Derek was able to use his own magic to manipulate, like the telescope via like the magical connection to like the projection
Oh
in that
yeah, I
first
do
room.
remember that. Yeah.
This is that telescope, which it does have some mechanical operations here. Again, no place for the key.
Fuck.
But yeah, this place is purely for maintaining and like and positioning the telescope manually. Derek was just able to do something cool and kind of like reverse the connection. Like it's supposed to be projected outward, but he like used the projection to physically manipulate the telescope. Opening. Oh wait, those are the staircases. I lied. How the fuck does this work?
Is there something up here?
There is. There's like one more staircase. Which opens up into like this larger space, which
That looks familiar.
it does seem to
Wait, those match the schools of magic.
Yeah.
they do kind of match that representation of the schools of magic on the first floor.
They do.
And
We do.
Is there a keyhole? Perception check for a keyhole.
yeah, go ahead and make a perception check with advantage, Asura.
Let's see.
Percepciones.
Natural 20.
Wow.
It's not here. It's not here.
Hidden.
Hidden.
Almost like perfectly in the stonework itself. You can see that there's actually a place to impress the.
Let's fucking go, baby!
Like,
Put that shit in there.
Bro, what?
Like it was hidden, but a natural 20 will definitely do it for you.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Let's go.
Remind me when you finally finished like lighting up all those sigils on the first floor, like what happened? That's when like the key like projected itself, right?
Yeah, there was writing on the ground.
Yeah, there was writing on the ground.
Fuck, what did it say?
Which something along the lines of to
master all
challenge
schools of magic.
To challenge, yeah, to something about mastering all the schools of magic and like becoming the master.
Yeah,
something along those lines. Do you wish to turn the key?
Turn it.
Turn it. Turn it.
Okay.
We're gonna wait. Actually,
placing it into the floor
actually,
and
it's too late. It's too late.
pressing it. You turn the key and you hear like a thunk, and just the like the grinding of various gears. And similar to like those portcullis things that you just actually asked about. There's one on like the ceiling here that opens up kind of in like that iris way, like from like a camera, and some like clockwork like machinery that wasn't visible at first begins to descend from the ceiling. It almost looks like a needle like pointing directly down towards the center, like slowly descending, and then it actually fans out and goes perpendicular to the ground. And you can actually see that it's not just like one point, but 2 needles that are pointing to various walls. And the walls that it's pointing to are like the north and the south walls. And as those like needles point, almost very similar to like how like a clock's hands, as they point outwards, the same sigils start to glow in like those north and south positioned like circles that you saw on the first floor, which, if I'm looking through my notes correctly, the north one is abjuration and the south one is evocation. And the sigil glows, and popping up and like forming is like a ghostly image of essentially like a mage or like a wizard.
Oh, fuck.
Armed and ready for battle.
God dang.
And I guess that's where we're gonna leave off for the session.